I thought it would be fun to show you how you can quickly make a bookmark, and I wanted to show you a few different ways that I had tried it and what I actually found to be the most successful. So we're going to just start with some of the things that we need. I used the Zany Zoo Designer Series paper from Stampin' Up, as well as the stamp set itself. So first I'm going to start with what I use to make my bookmarks. I've tried a couple of different methods, but what I found I like the best, because I love these bookmarks that fold over the edge of a book. So you see how it's just going to go right over the edge of a page. Those are my favorite. But I found a couple of tips and tricks. So first of all, I love these magnetic vent cover sheets. They are perfect, and they're not super thick, so they're not super heavy, and they're very easy to cut. So I picked these up at one of the home improvement stores in my town. I can't remember which one. And then you're going to need your paper trimmer. I just used mine. You could also use scissors, but you're going to get a straighter line with a paper trimmer. The dimensions that I use, that I found that I like the best, are 2 inches by 6 1/8, literally, or 1/16, whichever works for you, just so you have a little bit of room for your fold or your crease. Now on these first ones, so I cut my magnetic strip at 2 inches by 6 inches, and I creased it. And I found after a while that I didn't care for it being creased, and it eventually kind of breaks anyway. So you can do it that way, or is what you can do, and it'll line up really well, is just go ahead and cut it at 2 by 3 inches. And then I will show you what I found to work really well for me. So I've got my paper here, and I've got this cut at 2 by 6. And it just depends on how you're going to have your front and back. So for instance, this one I used the little singing turtle on the back because this guy's doing music. This one I've got the little pig and the trees on the back of this one, because again, this little guy's out roasting his marshmallows. And then this one is a special one that I'm doing for a gift for a birthday that goes with a set of books. And she likes llamas, and so I just kept it all the same. But what I found and what I like to do here is I've got these pieces of magnet, so I cut them at 2 by 6 and then cut it in half, so 2 by 3. And then I have a piece of basic black, and it is cut at 2 inches by 6 and the next tick mark. So that's either going to be, it depends on your ruler, 1/16 or 1/8. Just so you have a little tiny bit of room for it to give. The reason we're going to do this is it's just going to give it a little extra strength. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take and just glue this onto the basic black. And, well, we're going to get new glue, it looks like. Never fear, I have new glue. I like glue because I can move it around just a little bit, giving me a little bit of play, which I want some playroom, and I want to get right to my edges. You can use whatever adhesive you like, but you want something that's fairly strong. And then we're going to come right up, but not on the score line, because we want it to have the ability to fold over easily. And you can see that we just did that, and I'm going to move it down here to the bottom edge, so I have it lined up pretty well. And then I'm going to do the same thing with another piece of magnet. And the reason we're doing this is just to give it a little bit of strength, and also so it won't tear in half. So you're going to have a couple layers of the paper, which I found, again, through trial and error, that was what was working best for me. Now you could also use tear and tape, something like that. Again, like I said, something that's going to hold it. Then just give it a good press and let it sit for a moment. And then I'm going to take my paper, and let me tell you actually for just a moment while that dries, I used several different papers from the Zany Zoo collection from Stampin' Up. But you can see like this guy, this is him, but I went ahead and got out my Stampin' Blends and just colored him to add interest to him because I wanted a little bit more color. And did the same thing, for instance, with the bear. You see this bear right here. And I just did the same thing and colored the bear with some Stampin' Blends. And then on another sheet that has the lion with the camping guys, did the same thing and again used the Stampin' Blends. So just really fun for people that, depending on what their interests are. Then I've got a couple that I stamped the llama because she's knitting. I'm going to be using these as gifts for class attendees. People that come to my card classes will be getting these as a table favor. Everybody always appreciates a bookmark, or at least I think they do, because I read all the time. So I'm convinced everybody must read, right? So there's my spiel on reading. Everybody should read. Now I want to make sure this is 2 inches because I had a couple that, yeah. So I've got a piece of 2 inch, and I'm going to use the floral one for this one. And I'm going to cut it at 6 inches. Actually, just a tiny smidge over 6 inches. And this one, I'm going to not worry about changing its sides, like cutting it in half. Oops, sorry, I just bumped that. I'm not going to cut it in half because I don't need any of this side to show. So I'm going to come back over now that this is dried a little bit, and I'm going to mount this. Well, first of all, let's go ahead and score this at 3 inches. Just gives it a little bit of a crease. So I'm going to just go just a little tiny bit over 3 inches. I'm going to get my cutting blade out of the way, give that a score. Don't press it down so hard that you tear it, but you are going to want to, you know, give it a little bit of a score. And I am going, isn't this cute? So cute! But we're not using that side. So it would just look silly. Well, it probably would look fine, but I'm not going to do it. So I'm just going to put some more glue on this. And I'm okay with having quite a bit of glue on it because I want it to hold. And then I'm going to just simply lay this on here, kind of line up my score lines. And I might have a little tiny edge to trim, but I'm okay with that. I don't mind that at all. And then just give it a nice press after you've got it the way you want it. And now you're going to see how this is just going to fold over super nice. And it's still a little tight, but that's all right. And it should magnetize to itself. So you've got it where it's going to hook. Okay, so we've got that. And you might need to just play with it for a minute to make sure that it's sticking down flat. I'm noticing on this that it's not. There we go. Now it is. It just needed a little reminder what its job was. And now I'm just going to put this little fella right there. And you can see where the Stampin' Blends bled through, which is fine because it's mounted on something else. You're never going to know. Again, I like glue because if this is going to be handled a lot and in and out of books, you want it to hold. And I like it right there. I don't like to put a lot of embellishments on a bookmark because you don't want to ruin pages in a book. So that, my friends, is really how you're going to make a quick and easy bookmark. I chose the 2-inch width because of the images I was using. You could certainly go with something more narrow and even shorter, but this is a fun size and makes a fun gift. So there you have it. Some magnetic sheet, some designer series paper, a little bit of stamping and coloring, and you have got some really fun and cute bookmarks that you can give year-round. I want to thank you for taking the time to just watch what I had to share with you today. I'm Brenda with My Pastor's Wife Designs.